Now I'm going to hand this off to Brewbound editor Chris Furnari. He's going to take over the Livestream Lounge for the remainder of, well, this portion of the afternoon. So, Chris.
Awesome. Thank you, Justin. All right. Look at this balancing act I got going on right now.
You're a superstar.
I'm going to smash this iPad pretty soon. Can you take it? Take it from me, jeez. As Justin said, I am Chris Furnari, the editor of Brewbound. I've been up on stage most of the day, and now I'm joined by my good friend, Adam Lambert. And I'm going to put this beer down, actually, and steal that iPad back from you. Thought maybe I'd have some kind of table here. Adam, you have been all across the beer industry for, the last 20, 25 years. Talk to me a little bit about just your career and all the different stops that you've made and what you're up to now.
Sure. Really started for me in college. I worked retail at a grocery store in San Luis Obispo. Worked for Wine Warehouse for a year. I think Ed Rose is here in the audience in the chain division. Went and worked for Slow Brewery for 3 years, ran Northern California first, and then they brought me back down to San Luis Obispo to run the state of California. I think at the time we were fifth, sixth largest scanning brewery in California, so we had some good volume.
Wow. What year was that?
97.
Wow.
So
totally different environment back then.
Yeah, it's night and day. It's so crazy. Couldn't get arrested selling craft beer in 97. And can't get arrested now due to so many breweries out there. So it's a really interesting shift. Did that for a few years. Had a little wine company for 3-4 years. Started a beer broker company. And Rogue Ales was one of my first clients on the beer broker company, which was a lot of fun. And did that for about a year as a broker. And then Jack Joyce brought me up to Oregon to run sales for Rogue, which was a lot of fun, a great learning experience, a wonderful mentor, incredible guy in the beer business. Did that for 6 years. Had some couple of tough years and then some pretty aggressive fun years where we grew pretty rapidly. Went to Dogfish in 2008, the beginning of 2008. I think we knocked out 78,000 barrels. And left at the end of 2014, and we did 230,000+ barrels.
Wow.
And had an incredible time. Again, wonderful learning experience, great company, wonderful people, just a really great time. And then I made the jump to Michigan to take a job with New Holland and also to be closer to my current wife, which at the time was my girlfriend, who's also in the beer business. And then was at New Holland for 14 months, had a great little run there, and then wanted to try something different. Went to work for Virtue Cider and be part of the high-end team, which was interesting. It was fun and just a little different than what I was aspiring for in my career right now. So last few months I just joined Storied Craft Breweries. We're a growth capital company, but also offer a lot more than just capital. Distribution management, marketing, operational excellence, and last 3 months working with these guys.
Awesome. Yeah, we're seeing, a lot of these groups kind of crop up now. I think we've seen, some of the ones that appear a bit more focused on the roll-up strategy, like, an Oscar Blues holding company or an Enjoy Beer, Rich Doyle's deal. And Storied Craft is similar in the sense that you guys want to put breweries together or have a portfolio of breweries, but you're taking a slightly different approach in that you want to do mostly minority stakes, correct?
Yeah, I mean, we'll look at, just like all the capital groups out there, I mean, we'll look at, all deals that are available and what's going on, but yeah, it's not, taking a minority share and again, making sure that, the current ownership is still vested in what's happening with the brewery. It's not our goal just to grab a brewery, fill the capacity out, sell beer. I mean, that's a pretty fundamental approach to things. We really want the people that are behind the brewery involved, and we, our whole project is not about just dumping money into something. It's about offering a whole bunch of services that are on the side that I don't think a lot of groups out there are offering. So that's really our model.
And give us a taste of what some of those services might be like.
Building distribution plans, helping with marketing, looking at operations. At Dogfish, I spend a ton of time in production. I'm not a brewer. I can't tell you, what quote unquote is wrong with a beer. I mean, I understand the basic flaws, but I spend a lot of time on managing production, scheduling, building budgets, being able to know that we could physically get the amount of beer through the system that we needed to in order to hit our sales number. So I have a pretty intimate relationship on the production end throughout my career, and I'm utilizing that right now. So operations, and some legal stuff. I mean, being able to help breweries in terms of, distributor contracts and moving into out-of-state markets that they're maybe not familiar with. I always say this, there's 50 states out there, like 50 different countries.
Yep.
So offering a whole bunch, kind of what I call back of the house. I mean, the marketing and sales obviously are the front of the house, but a lot of back of house support too. And, just thinking about things that, that you don't think about. It's, at 20, 30,000 barrels, it's one thing. At 100,000 barrels, it's another. I mean, you think about it, if you're at 100,000 barrels, 30 days worth of inventory is 8,000 barrels. Well, 3-4 years ago, you were only making 60,000 barrels of beer. So just, storing that amount of beer on the floor alone, or getting that beer through the system. So kind of a lot of the back of the house stuff.
Yeah, and that seems like the one area of the business that, a lot of these newer brands that have, we've seen have a lot of rapid growth. That seems like one of the areas that they're going to really struggle with, and obviously an area that you guys can come in and help with. But I'm really interested in sort of the investment piece of it as well. Is there a size range in terms of deals that you guys are looking at? What kind of investments are actually being made for you guys to, sign on a partner? What are you guys looking at?
Well, it's kind of, I think Eugene touched on it earlier. I mean, making it a monetary investment in a brewery to grab an interest is one thing, but understanding, when you look at a project, understanding what their distribution network looks like and how that works moving forward, because that really has a huge sway on what we want to do. If you look at a brewery that's in 30 states and they're in a mishmash of wholesalers and trying to spend the time to figure out how that network works and move forward, that can really play into like what you want to do with a deal. I don't think, we have one set formula, quite honestly. We're going to look at everything, look at it through the eyes of, financial, distribution, sales, capacity available, CapEx. There's a whole bunch of things that we're going to look at in order to make some sort of investment. So I don't think we have one cookie cutter, and we don't have one size that we look at. I think a lot of things have to be in play. Ownership, engagement of ownership, brand strength. Will the brand travel? Is it uber local? Where the location is? I mean, quite honestly, a brewery maybe in a smaller populated market might not make sense. So I think we look at a whole bunch of different factors. So it's not just looking for, hey, can we grab 50% and is it X amount of dollars? It's really like this kind of funny jigsaw of pieces that really don't fit into a jigsaw. So you got to kind of make the picture yourself.
Yeah. Well, you're pretty good at that. You've been doing that your whole career, right?
Most people call it bullshitting, but it's taking a look at different aspects of the business.
Yeah. I read something recently. It might have even been Harry's newsletter or something, but making chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Yeah.
So it sounds like that's kind of what you have to do in some of these cases. You really got to work through it and massage it until it makes sense. And I think probably not just for what you guys are putting together, but for any of these other groups, that's probably what they're struggling with.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I go back to like it's not 100% about financial investment. I mean, it's probably pretty easy. As if you've got $100 million and you're looking through somebody's books and things look great, right? So okay, we'll make the investment. Well, hey, what does available capacity, your current capex, where you want to be, the location, all the things I just talked about are so important, but you can't put that on a balance sheet.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't, unless you're in the business and understand especially the beer business, that all the idiosyncrasies that are part of, how a brand grows. That's not something you can just sit there and read through and jam into your spreadsheet and say, hey, this makes sense.
Right.
Let's make this investment.
Yep. Yeah, no, totally. Well, I think we got our next guest coming on here,
Cool.
but really
Two of my
excited.
favorites right here.
Yeah, Rick and Brandon from Coronado, but really excited to see what Storied Craft has to offer in the coming months, and best of luck with it all, my friend. I'm happy you found maybe a final resting place here.
I'm hireable still?
Yeah,
Is that what
yeah.
you're saying?
Well,
Thanks.
well, you were always hireable. It's this whole thing up here that we got to work on.
Yeah,
you know,
face for radio.
yeah. All right, man.
All right, thanks, Chris.
Cheers.
See ya.